everyone. So pleasure being here. So I start by giving some introduction. Not everyone knows what Scandinavia is. It's basically these three countries, but we typically include Finland also. But in this region, it's 20 million people. I come from Stockholm here in Sweden. It basically means per 100 square meters, there's 2 people. So I thought it would be interesting to compare. Here's the same scale in China. So down here we have Guangzhou, and here it's 106 million people in this region, a lot less space, so it means that's around 60 people per 100 square meter. Yeah. So, some background, we have a lot of space in Sweden basically, but for somehow with this small amount of people, it's basically like one city. Stockholm in itself is 2 million people. We are quite famous for design, so I think it's interesting to talk about that today. People was founded 6 years ago by 4 friends. We all quit our jobs basically. 3 of the co-founders came from Nokia, and myself, I just finished my 3rd degree. So they called me up from Nokia. This was after an iPhone came, and they had just presented to the board, and the first reaction was, "I'm too old for this." And then we felt maybe we can change the world better by doing it outside of big corporations. So we all quit our employee or current projects and moved to Stockholm to start the studio. What do we do at People? We work in some verticals, for example, electric transportation. We work electric bike, electric boat, and the electric car. I can't show you the electric car, it's still in development. But it's for Saab, it's an old Swedish brand, kind of like Volvo. Now it's called Natural Electrical Vehicle Sweden, and it's actually owned by a Chinese company. We also work with startups, so here's some recent examples. It's a Bluetooth button that is about this big. There's a lot of integration, so you can control it like a remote for Spotify or a music streaming service. But you can also, for example, in the UK, they have a cooperation with a pizza place. So you push it to order your favorite pizza, and it just comes there. So people use it for different things. We have, me and my wife have one at the door when we leave the house, and then you click it to ring your phone, and you find it more quickly. Because, if you change bags a lot, you put your phone in different places. So this is a wearable screen. It's like a pin, and it's a high-quality screen, and people use it to kind of express themselves, put a smile on there, but they also, customers are in stores that change their branding, maybe have a new campaign. And the final one is a wearable camera. It's called a live-logging camera. It takes a picture every 30 seconds, and it just takes pictures all the time, basically, without you thinking about it. Then it uploads it in the cloud. It has a 2-day battery. So when you then you can, on your phone, you can play back your entire life. It has an algorithm to put together moments and GPS stamping them. So if I had one now, which I should have had, but I would know I was in this area, and I could play back like a stop motion movie and see all this remembered. So it's the world's smallest GPS camera, and now it also has, if you double tap, you can film a short sequence. Some years back, we had our own lab where we tried to spend some time thinking about stuff that we think is nice. And around 3 years ago, we blogged the idea about a transparent speaker that would fit with any wallpaper and kind of fit into your living room. And it was very popular, so we decided to crowdfund it. And we put the money that we got from crowdfunding this product into a new company called People Products that we've been doing on the side as a kind of test. This year we have changed strategy, so we're scaling up with 10 more employees in that company and doing several product ranges. But these are the current 2 products in the market. We typically do technology products, consumer electronics, but one of our colleagues designed this pocket watch, and we didn't think it was suitable to do, but we get 2 emails every week for 1 year, people saying that they really like the product since we blogged it on our blog. So now we have just released it before Christmas, and partnered with a store in Sweden, so we do 200 stores for wedding season, because a lot of people want to buy this as a kind of season, like special occasion gift. So as Greg mentioned, we've been involved actively in the hardware scene. So just from Sweden, this was last year. I think there's one new product now, but this was the 6th most crowdfunded product. So you have like in-ear Bluetooth headsets. They got like 1.5 million. These also got 1.5 million. They're charged by the phone, so you can quickly charge them on the phone. And then the Flip Smart button that I mentioned, and then the narrative clip, and the Move is a smart blinder, so you control with Bluetooth your blinds in your apartment, and then the transparent speaker. So by designing these 3 products, now everyone in Sweden comes to us and asks about crowdfunding and how do you do it. So that's why I think we have this position now where we are really trying to network and help the companies that are coming to us. We can't help all of them. Just a little bit more background on what we do. This is the first digital camera. It took 2 minutes to upload a black and white image on a tape with very low resolution. And now we have like this camera, it's 40 years later, 8 gigabytes, a lot of memory. So I think what happened is like technology has become ubiquitous. You can put technology in anything. So this is me 1.5 years ago on my wedding day. You can see my pupils are very, very small. I have endorphin shock because I'm about to go into the church. This is below in the image. My wife is helping me put on the flower, and I'm super, super nervous. But you can see the technology there. The camera is like blending in, and the priest didn't even notice that we were taking on this picture. So I think that's that kind of where we are with technology is a part of your lifestyle. And with the lower prices and crowdfunding, it's really easy to build prototypes. This is announced now on CES. It's a 3D gyrometer Arduino board where you can, Intel chipset, where you can get live tracking of all the motions on the ship, built in Bluetooth, low energy. The ship is a crowdfunded project, $9 computer. Also, Raspberry Pi has announced that their zero will be $5, so it's not so expensive starting to build a hardware project. And we've seen this proliferation. We helped to design some smartwatches, and on my table now it's even more than this. Like there's overflooding of technology, right? So we have to go back and look at the lifestyle to understand, because what happens with technology is that there's a hype cycle where it gets very popular, like right now with the Internet of Things, everyone is doing it, wearables. And then the expectations become really high, but typically there's a disappointment afterwards because they don't really deliver on all that. Maybe your health didn't get better even if you bought the health wearable, right? But then after some time, there's actually some real use for this product in society, and it's really useful. So we really try to shortcut this and really find what's really a good function in a product. And today a product is never physical or digital, it's always both, right? So this reality is really blending. So our main focus has been understanding the real need of people and blending the physical and digital. So that's the focus of people. So that's like a background, what we do. Why Scandinavian Design? Scandinavian Design goes back from the 30s and 40s and about understanding people and also a minimalistic approach. But I kind of take my take on it today, and I chose kind of 3 ways to talk about it that I think would make sense to learn a little bit about design perspectives that I think you can incorporate, and if you're doing a hardware project, these might be interesting things to think about. The first thing is understanding people. And we are called people because we want to, when we're consulting, we want always to get money to do some research. So we put it in our company name. We have to understand people, be inspired by people, to be desired by people. So this is a picture from research that we do. We go to people's house, typically, minimum maybe 5 houses, and research real life context. So someone here, for some stupid reason, has put a sneaker inside the door in the house. So why do you think they have done that?
So they won't get any mail?
to guess, not this particular person's issue. More guesses?
Ventilation.
Correct. So in small apartments, typically you cannot get a draft because you have only windows in one direction, and it feels unsecure to open the door, so people put a shoe in the door. Many brands fail on a physical level here, so you don't really have a good experience. So one example of exploring this is that we talked to a brand like a diaper maker, and they have a community online where people ask questions about motherhood or parenthood. And one thing that was a big concern was that it was very hard to get the husband really involved in a pregnancy. So we built a prototype to explore a concept where, because if you feel a kick in the stomach, you don't SMS or text your partner. Because it's, what are you going to write? I felt a kick. People don't generally do that. So we just made a test run for them, maybe 100 pieces, where if you get a kick, you push, and if you get a hard kick in your stomach, you push hard, and it vibrates on your partner the same amount. And so this is not like a real mass production thing, but it's about design thinking. They show this video and they show their community that they're thinking of them, and maybe there's a potential business to do this product for real. But mostly it's about understanding if that helps them. And for a brand that creates a relationship with their customer before they start buying diapers, that they care about how it is to be a parent. Another example is that we do digital cameras, and a lot of research, you see people it's not good when it goes click, click, then the image becomes blurry. They cannot really explain it better than long click sound is bad. And most people react to this weird wheel, like what the hell is APSM seeing and all these letters? No one really knows. It's a heritage from photography that I think most consumers don't know. So then we build a prototype that either you have strong or soft flash, or you have a short and long click. And we just see if that's a more intuitive way for people to take a picture. If you start experimenting with a click, maybe you can come up with some new kind of photographs that you didn't know how to do before. It's probably much more intuitive, at least, than this version, and then having several other buttons. So those are some examples of how we tend to look at people actually using things and understanding people first to make sense. So second point is making sense. Okay, the first point was more about understanding that people don't typically understand reality very well, and that we have to understand the problems you're facing. Second point is making sense. So one good example is salt and pepper shaker. So how many people in the audience believe that 5 whole is pepper? Hands up. So 20%. Maybe. I mean, you have to do, otherwise other people can't say it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we're 7 people in this room think this is pepper. Are you quite convinced, or not convinced, or so-so? You're quite convinced. Yeah, you know for sure. You too. And he's doing a kitchen restaurant, right, or a kitchen shop. So he should be the expert in the room.
Yeah, normally if you that is little hole for the salt, because if the salt you put, it's okay to put more pepper, but it's not okay to put more salt.
But the English, they think otherwise.
Yeah, you think so?
Huh?
Yeah, actually, I'm doing research with a researcher on human interaction and computer interface interaction called Don Norman. We do this test with pretty much all the lectures we do, and globally it's 50-50. Half think the one, half think the other one. And many times, if you go on the internet, there would be heated arguments about, no, it's about health, you should have little salt because it's unhealthy, or it's about the grain size, but there is no objective truth in this matter, actually. So it's a cultural heritage, but we as people have somehow made a map in our head when we think, well, it should be this one. So, but there's no guarantee. You can go somewhere and it will probably not be what you expected. Yes?
Can we track who the designer who designed this, what that designer said?
Yeah, exactly. No, it's so old. There's dating back really old. They did also different designs. Everyone loves to do different designs, you know. So Yep.
And everyone knows that the one fold one, that's really for toothpicks.
That's another big issue. So this is a really important point that people typically have already experienced life somehow, right? And they have made their own little decision. And this really affects how you use a product. So even if we find a problem in their home, they might want to solve the problem in a specific way that they have learned from their culture, their family, or just life. So when we work, for example, with sustainable products, in Sweden, the sustainable bananas are plastic wrapped in 5, and you cannot do them free weight. And that made people not choose them because they just wanted one banana. And now that it's not that way, we've done research and we discovered it affects how many people choose ecological bananas, because in history they have chosen it many times, they have not made that decision. So, like, am I clear? So you can choose any number of bananas that are normal bananas, and then you have eco bananas that are only come in package of 5. So for the first 2 years of ecological bananas in Sweden, this was the choice. And then many people felt, I don't want 5 bananas, I want 2. Then they took away that choice, but people still choose this because they now have this cognitive dissonance in their head, and they've made a choice, so they continue making that choice even if the choice is not relevant anymore. So this is the hard and tricky part about design, that really understanding people better than they understand themselves. So just some examples how to make sense is making something really approachable. So what should you interact with first in the product? It should be a clear handle, it should be a clear button. What is your first interaction with something? I think Scandinavian design is typically very good at making a clear, simplistic handle or design choice. So not all of these are Scandinavian designs, it's just illustration of approachable design. You don't have a question mark, what should I do with this? You can just pick it up and understand it immediately on an intuitive level. And that only happens if you understand people and their context they're using it. So some examples are, with wearable products, it really makes sense to associate shapes with something that we already know. So we really look at, for example, now you can tell I'm a bit old, I know videotapes and stuff that this generation would just look at and like, what's this? But maybe for some market this would be interesting. Most of these shapes are quite international. But in Sweden, for example, we have hockey. So the hockey puck is also a very familiar shape to many Swedes. And we have snus, this is tobacco you put on your lip. Very common, everyone in Sweden has lifted this package. We have, it's very dark, so we have a little light. And in Sweden we have a special, Swedish krona, it's a coin. So for every particular market, there's also familiar shapes that everyone knows that are just for that place. And sometimes they work internationally, but it's not always the case. So even when you work with form, you can make it more approachable by giving it a form that people are already a bit comfortable with. Understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And minimalist, you can really find proportions in anything. So if you need to divide your product in interface that has 8 buttons, for example, it's if you take a human head, you have an adult is 8 heads tall, and then you can divide the body into that, or you can divide the face into different proportions. And finding these proportions will make the placement of your buttons totally logical, and people recognize them immediately. It's not like why is the button placed here? You just understand it from intuition. And it's even, you can find it, if you do graphic design, you can find patterns everywhere. So if you write something aggressive, you can do graphic design so the text communicates that it's an aggressive article just by how you place your text on a page. So I think most people really appreciate when this extra work is put into design. That's when you see a logo and it feels really worked out. Typically there's something like this behind the logo that you really thought about the proportions. There's a grid, there's a logic to how you place the shapes. So, yeah, that was another one. Make sense of the shapes that you create. The final one, it's a complex topic that we approach in many different ways. CSR is today like a big topic that can be finding ways to put workers in a factory around the table to work as a team. We've done some research, and both the quality and the health of the work goes up if you can do teamwork. So assembly lines round, say, instead of a line, you have a U. It sounds very simple, but then people look up and see each other in the eye in a different way, and you can not only see your part of the assembly, you can also see the product being completed in front of you.